Hey everyone! Today's video falls under the real talk. Today's video falls under the real talks category, but it's definitely a topic that's a little touchy, and that's why I kind of started off with a more general concept to kind of, stick my toes in the water to see how far I can go with this and kind of test the waters a little bit before I actually go into the more deeper things revolving around this topic. And my topic is going to be suicide, and this is going to be one of the first videos that I make about this. Obviously it's such a broad topic that there's so much to cover, and I can't possibly cram everything into one single video. So I decided that, being someone who has lost a close friend to suicide and who has also struggled with suicidal thoughts and suicide attempts, that I could offer some insight from both sides of the spectrum on things not to say to someone who is contemplating suicide or maybe suicidal. I feel like this is important because there are so many lists of things to say to somebody, and nobody really talks about things not to say, because even though you say these things and you might have, their best intentions at heart, sometimes these things may offend them, or it might not help the way you're trying to. So I did want to make this list because these are things that have been said to me personally by close friends and family members that I feel like it doesn't really help me. And if anything, and this is just for me personally, I'm not saying that this is for everybody, but for me personally, some of these things actually made me want to kill myself even more. So, and again, not saying that this is, a list that you need to abide by, and this is like a hard set in stone rule that you shouldn't say any of these things to anybody that is suicidal ever. Because some of these things might work for some people, some of these things might not work for some people. But these are just things that I feel like generally you should try to steer clear from saying to somebody that's suicidal, because it might hurt their feelings or it might make them feel a lot worse. So I'll get right into the list, and this is my top 10 things not to say to a suicidal person. Number 1, suicide is selfish. I feel like this is really important because telling somebody that suicide is selfish and telling them that they're selfish because they think about taking their own life, the justification behind calling them selfish is that they'll be leaving behind a trail of hurt family members, and that they're selfish for wanting to end their life. And I feel like it's more selfish to ask them to keep living a life that they don't want to be a part of, that hurts them. It's more selfish to ask them to continue hurting rather than just, obviously you don't want them to, but I feel like it's more selfish to ask them to suffer. I feel like telling them that they're selfish isn't going to solve the problem, it's going to make it worse. So even if that's what you may believe, don't tell them that. Don't voice that to them, because if I'm depressed, the last thing I want to hear is that I'm selfish. It's just going to make me feel a lot worse. Number 2, think of your loved ones. This one goes hand in hand with number 1. Obviously if somebody's thinking about killing themselves, they're going to take into account that their loved ones are going to be hurt. And 9 times out of 10, they just accepted, okay, people are going to be hurt. And I think that the pain that they're feeling in life outweighs the pain that they think that their loved ones are going to go through. They feel like that they're so unimportant that their loved ones either won't care or that they'll just get over it. So telling them to think of their loved ones, it's going to be hard for them to sympathize or empathize with their loved ones in the event of their death, because they feel like they don't matter, which could be the reason why they want to kill themselves. Number 3, you have so much to live for. This one just, if I had so much to live for, I wouldn't want to kill myself. Number 4, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. Now, I personally am not a religious person at all, so right off the bat, just don't tell me this, because I would probably want to punch you in the face. But also, just, if they're thinking about killing themselves, even if they are a religious person, chances are God has given them more than they can handle, and that's why they want to kill themselves. and saying that God's not going to give them more than they can handle, chances are He already has, so just don't say it. Number 5, you can't leave me. Now this one is actually one that I hear a lot from a lot of different people, and chances are if you don't mean a lot to me and you're going to say that to me, I'm going to be like, I don't care, I'm going to leave you anyways. You know, hearing it from somebody I really do care about, you know, it really does work. But hearing it from somebody that I might not care about isn't going to make me say, oh, you're right, I can't leave you, I'm not going to kill myself. If I don't care about you, I don't care about you. Chances are the pain I'm feeling in life is a lot greater than the happiness I feel when I'm around you. I'm gonna leave you. Sorry. Number 6. You'll go to hell. This one is just, do not tell somebody that is thinking about killing themselves that they'll go to hell, because the last thing on their mind is where they're going when they're dying. They are so much more focused on the hell that they're living. If you're that concerned about where they're going when they're gonna die, focus on what's going on while they're still alive and try to make their life less of a hell so that they won't want to die. Number 7. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. This one frustrates me on so many levels because chances are if they're contemplating suicide, they don't feel that the problem is temporary. There's a quote that I found that's like a comeback to that one. I think of suicide as a moment of pain to end a lifetime of suffering. And it says it perfectly. It's not a temporary problem, which is why they're thinking about suicide. Chances are that problem is a lot worse than you can even begin to comprehend, and that's why they're thinking of suicide. Okay, number 8. Nobody who talks about it ever does it. That is just so... I'm just so upset that anybody would even think about telling somebody that. Saying, oh, you're not going to do it because you're talking about it, that doesn't mean that you're going to do it. Chances are, if I'm talking about it or if the person's talking about it, that's the first cry for help. Because chances are, if they're talking about it, they're seriously considering doing it. And instead of invalidating their feelings, you should try to talk to them before they get to the point that they're going to do it. Because for every person that commits suicide, there's always signs beforehand, like they'll give away their stuff or they're going to be some kind of cry for help, maybe a fascination with death. Well, most of the time, not all the time, because, you know, there's always exceptions to a rule, but chances are there's going to be some kind of cry for help. And if they're talking about it, that could be their cry for help. If they're talking about it, chances are they're seriously considering doing it. Number 9. Nothing is so bad that you need to kill yourself over it. I feel like if somebody's thinking about killing themselves, chances are it is that bad. And even if you may not be able to comprehend it, to them it's that bad. And for you to tell them that nothing is that bad, that's kind of like a middle finger to them, and you're saying, oh, well, the way you feel doesn't matter because nothing is ever that bad, and you're overreacting. Telling them that the way they feel is not valid. And I feel like with a suicidal person, you need to validate their feelings and tell them, okay, I totally get that you're feeling sad and it's okay to feel sad, rather than telling them that their feelings aren't valid, because when they start to feel alienated and they start to feel like they're alone, and that makes them want to kill themselves even more. So definitely don't say that nothing is so bad that you need to kill yourself over, because chances are if they're thinking about killing themselves, whatever they're going through is that bad. Number 10, the 10th and final thing, some people have it worse. There's a quote I want to share with you guys by Holocaust survivor. I don't want to say his name because I'm going to butcher it, but I will insert it here for you guys to see. I really don't want to butcher his name because I do really respect him. I will insert the quote up in this area for you guys, but I think that pretty much sums up everything that I have to say about that particular number 10. About some people have it worse, because even though some people may have it worse, doesn't mean that my problem doesn't hurt me as badly as it does. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this helped some of you guys out. If I offended anybody, I am truly sorry. I wasn't at all trying to. This is just, from my point of view, these are things that I wouldn't want somebody to tell me. And I know of people who probably wouldn't want to hear these things either. If you liked this video, go ahead and thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, thumbs down, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and thanks for watching!